What's up, guys? We are back with Insider Betting. We got UFC Paris going on this weekend. We got Moicano taking on Benoit Saint-Denis. As always, we're only going to talk about the main card because I don't watch the prelims. You don't watch the prelims. We don't care about the prelims. Let's save you some time. The main card is barely worth talking about. But we got Jesse calling in from France, which is exciting. How you doing, Jesse?
Doing very well. I'm staying at a chateau that belonged to the military commander for an old French king. It's a long story, but it's beautiful. It's wonderful. But I'm going to Paris on Friday, so I'll be in attendance at UFC Paris, and I'm super stoked about it.
Hell yeah. We're
Yeah.
Inside Fighting is making their presence known. We were at the Sphere for the last card. We're going to be in Paris this card, and hopefully I'm going to be in Utah next week for UFC 307. But anyway, let's get straight to the bets and to the fights themselves here. All right. We got Perez ZM taking on Matt Frivola to start off the night. Perez is coming off of a 3-win streak, while Matt Frivola is coming off of a loss to Benoit Saint-Denis, who's the main event on this card. Frivola I believe he's got a little bit of a shorter reach advantage. No, he's got a longer reach advantage. Sorry. So ZM has the longer reach, Frivola, shorter reach. He'll likely have to get in the pocket if he wants to scrap a little bit, but he is probably going to take advantage of his grappling game with Perez here. This is actually a tough fight to call. It's one of the more even fights on the card, with ZM coming in at -130 and Frivola coming in +110. And I actually think it opened the other way around. I think Frivola was the favorite, and as the bets were coming in, ZM ended up being the favorite. Probably going to be a boring fight. Probably going to go to decision. I think that what's going to happen here is that ZM is going to be a little bit more the calculated fighter. He's going to try to gas Frivola out. If Frivola can last the 3 rounds, he's got a chance of winning because he does have a bit of the grappling advantage here. Although ZM's got has got decent takedown defense. I actually had a lot of trouble calling this fight, and I'm probably not going to bet on it. I want to go with ZM. I think ZM's going to pull this one out of the bag, but I think that a lot of people might be underestimating Frivola and what he can do.
Yeah, it's super tough to call because I'll be honest, I don't know a ton about ZM. I will say we did interview Matt Frivola, and he just had a baby. He just became a father, so I know that he might have some extra dad strength going into this fight. So if that's the case, maybe you bet he adds a little premium if you feel like betting on it. I'm just realizing our template's all fucked up. I don't know why I can see my hand through. I don't know what is going on right now. Anyways, just technical difficulties to start this.
I don't
know. I like Frivola only because I think you're getting decent value on a guy with a lot of experience, but I'm feeling the same as you. Perez ZM's that hometown guy. He's French, I'm assuming, right?
I think he's French, but he represents the Algerian flag.
French Algerian. Okay.
Yeah.
French. Yeah, he's French. He's French mixed martial artist. But yeah, okay. He's gonna have the hometown on his side, but I don't know if he's a big enough star for that to really matter much in this fight. I like Frivola. I don't think I'll put money down. I will say I like finish in this fight. I do feel like this fight goes to a finish because Frivola is an action-packed fighter. He goes for it. So I do think we're going to see him in the fire a little bit in this fight. So I would bet on this fight getting nasty. That's what I would say. Bet on a finish.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting take. I mean, Frivola is pretty split even for his wins. He's got 4 knockouts, 3 submissions, and 4 decisions. So I wouldn't say he's a finished specialist. And same thing for ZM. He's got 5 knockouts, 4 submissions, 6 decisions.
Yeah.
My biggest
you're not wrong.
flaw for Frivola here is I think actually on our podcast. Yeah, I think on our podcast he was talking about how he trains with Merab Dvalishvili, right?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, and I think that with Merab being so focused on his camp, obviously for his title fight with Sean O'Malley, I don't know if Frivola got to train with Merab as much as he would have wanted to, So I don't know how good his camp was, but yeah, 50-50 toss up. This is a pretty even fight, I think.
Yeah, he did get I'll just say this: he did get finished brutally by Benoit Saint-Denis last time he fought a Frenchman. Yeah. So I might actually bet on. It might just be this situation. He just doesn't do well against French guys, so that might be how I bet this as well. So we'll see.
Struggles against the French. We're going to move on to the next fight of the night here. But before we do have a special message from our friends at DraftKings.
We'll be back to the video in just a second, but first, I got to remind you, the NFL season is in full swing, and Inside Fighting has partnered up with DraftKings, an official partner of the NFL, to bring you an amazing offer. And right now, if you go download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, new customers who bet $5 will receive $200 in bonus bets just by using promo code Inside Fighting.
There we go. We love NFL. We love football. It's back, baby. Did you see the guy the other day who won I think it was a $200 bet. I think he won like 15K or something like that for Jamar Chase anytime or first touchdown of the night. And he had a 3-leg parlay with like he had the other two right already, and then on Monday Night Football he hit the third. It's pretty crazy.
That's sick. That's sick. No, I didn't see that. I just know that Jamar Chase like won me my fantasy football matchup last week. So, we're kind of, it's not 15 grand, but it still helped me out a little bit. So
yeah, that's what it was. He bet at $250 and he got 11,000 out of it.
Nice.
Pretty crazy.
Nice.
Anyway, Morgan Charrier versus Gabriel Miranda. Another pretty decent matchup here. This one in the featherweight. Morgan Charrier, he's only 1-1 in the UFC, and he lost his last fight to Jose Marcical in a split decision. He's a minus 675 favorite here, dude. Pretty crazy. Miranda gets hit a ton, and he lands less than Charrier does. He takes down his opponents quite a bit. I think that with the 87% takedown defense and with him just being such a favorite, I just don't see Charrier losing this one. But maybe there could be like a sneaky upset here if Miranda uses his wrestling to kind of keep him on the ground there. But I think I'm just going to go with the odd makers here and go Charrier, although I'm not too educated on this fight, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think you throw him in a parlay if you do anything. Just the money line odds are terrible. I mean, I will say, like, being 1-1 and not a super experienced UFC fighter, Gabriel Miranda does have more experience in the UFC, I think. You could consider a sprinkle here. I like Charrier in front of the French crowd. He had a great finish in his last fight. I think it was I don't remember if it was exactly his last fight, but one of his last fights, it was a body kick that ended the fight. It was a body kick TKO. It was sick. It was a dope finish, really nasty kick. So that was actually very impressive. So I do like this. And if you said this guy gets hit a lot, then I can just see this dude taking leg kicks to the, all day and then getting finished. So I would bet comfortably. I would even think Charrier finish is interesting, but
I would agree.
Yeah,
to throw some more odds out there or some more numbers. 11 knockouts and 19 wins. So dude's the real deal. While Gabriel Miranda's got 16 submissions and 17 wins. So the guy clearly knows how to work it on the ground. As far as experience, although Miranda's 34 versus 28, they're both 1-1 in the UFC actually. So
okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
And Miranda lost his first fight in the UFC and to Benoit Saint-Denis as well. So Benoit has cleared out this card.
The UFC knows what they're doing. They're picking opponents of the French guys that have lost to French guys before. So they're trying to stack the deck and just create a clean sweep for the Frenchmen on the board. So
I don't think they're far from it.
No.
Next card on the night, we got Kevin Jousset versus Brian Battle. I believe Kevin's either French or French Canadian with that last name. Oh no, he's from New Zealand. God damn, couldn't be more wrong. That's super surprising. Either way, I think Brian Battle's going to win this one. I think his high pressure is going to be a little bit too much for Jousset. Jousset does use his size to kind of like push you up against the cage and then try to take you down from there. And he'll probably take Battle down a couple times. But I just think with the amount of punches that Battle throws and the forward pressure he has, I don't know if Jousset will be able to bully him like he's bullied past opponents. So I'm going with Battle here. He's 5-1-1 in the UFC. He had a no contest to Angelusa last fight. Jousset is 2-0 in the UFC, but again, I just think Brian Battle is going to use that experience and he's going to use that pressure to win. He looks better and better every fight, and I think we're going to see that this time around as well.
Couldn't agree with you anymore. You should have gone with your first instinct, though. He is born out of Bordeaux, France, fights out of Auckland, New Zealand. He's a member of City Kickboxing. Kevin Jousset's a member of City Kickboxing, but he is French, born in Bordeaux. I love the odds for Brian Battle on the money line, if I'm being honest. Like, I could see this potentially being a heavier favorite. I think Brian Battle's going to be a guy that's like going to be kind of nasty in welterweight for a while. And that's also, I could potentially be selling Kevin Doucette a little bit short here. I just think very highly of Brian Battle. I like his mentality. I like his style. I like the way, I like his game. I like what he's putting down. I like him on the money line, minus 170. I can bet that comfortably. Even in France,
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The fact that I could tell he's French just by the last name, but the fact that he doesn't train in France means he might get a little bit less love from the French fans. I don't know if he reps, like on Sherdog, he's got the New Zealand flag. So I wonder if he reps the New Zealand flag when he walks out, or if he reps the French flag there.
Yeah. Well, he trains with Izzy. He trains with Izzy and those guys at City Kickboxing. So, you know, he might rep that New Zealand flag. That would be a bold choice to go in as a Frenchman wearing a New Zealand flag. Bold choice.
Yeah. I think that when it comes, like we've seen this, especially in like the Merab and O'Malley fight, you know, these precision heavy guys tend to struggle with the pressure heavy guys, you know, and I think that's what Kevin is versus Brian Battle there. So yeah, I think Brian's pressure is just gonna dominate. But anyway, feature fight of the night. We got William Gomez versus Joanderson Brito. And this is probably going to be a knockout. Brito's got 8 knockouts, 7 submissions in his 17 wins. He's on a 5-fight win streak, I think, if not even more. He beat Jack Shore, Jonathan Pierce recently. William Gomez is not one to undermine, though. He's 3-0 in the UFC. He's got good takedown defense. They're both really well-rounded. Same fight as the last one. Gomez can be dangerous. He's a little bit more precise, but Brito's got that pressure. If Gomez can avoid getting knocked out, there's a good chance he wins by decision. But I think Brito's the real deal. He actually beat Diego Lopez. I think it was a decision win. I don't remember if it was split or majority or unanimous. Yeah, it was a unanimous decision win. It's Diego Lopez on Dana White's Contender Series. So he's the real deal. Like if you can kind of look at how Diego Lopez has gone recently. But yeah, I think pressure beats the precision in this fight. And I got this one for Joanderson Brito.
Yeah, I agree with you. Gomez, interesting story. This is the guy who had a really bad weight cut. I forget what card it was on. He was scheduled for a fight last time, and he made weight, and then I guess he got so sick from like the weight cut that he just started like throwing up, and he couldn't hold anything down, and he lost an extra like 4 pounds, and he ended up like 4 pounds underweight. He had a really bad weight cut, and it was so they canceled the fight. Not that really changes my opinion here, but it just makes me wonder potentially if he's meant for this weight class and he should be like a weight class bigger, or what the deal is. I don't know what's going on. It just makes me believe in Brito a little bit more, because yeah, I agree. I think Brito's nasty. I think he's got kind of good all around game, and I like Brito a lot here. And I would probably bet finish just to add a little extra juice.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a finish. The over under is 2.5 rounds, and it's actually plus 100 to go under 2.5 rounds. So odds makers think it's going to go pretty late, potentially finish. So, or potentially the decision, which I think is kind of interesting. But yeah, like Gomez is 6 feet tall. You know, he's got 4 inches on Joanderson Brito. He's like one of those tall, lanky guys. And yeah, cutting weight can be difficult. You know, it might be time for him to move up a weight class and put on some more muscle. But yeah, we'll have to see how this plays out. But I think we're both with Brito here. Hey.
Yes, I'm taking Brito.
Nice. Co-main event: Nasruddin Imavov versus Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen's been on a fucking tear, dude. He's on a 7-fight win streak. He's beat Chris Curtis, Paul Craig, Bruno Silva recently. We got Nasruddin Imavov, who's on a 2-fight win streak, and he's got a no contest in there. His most recent loss was to Strickland. He's got wins over Cannonier and Roman Dolidze, with a little bit of a controversial win over Cannonier. That one was when Cannonier was kind of rocked a little bit, but not out.
I'm turning my lights on.
All good. All good. It looked like Cannonier was like on his way out, but he actually wasn't out. It felt like an early stoppage. We saw it against Cal Baralio, where Cannonier was still knocked down. arguably worse than how he was knocked down versus Imavov. Ref let it keep going, and he
brutal.
ended up going to decision, so he wasn't out. And so yeah, Cannonier can last a while. Kind of feels like a bit of a striker versus grappler matchup, although Nasruddin Imavov has great ground game as well, so can't go understated there. Honestly, I think it's going to be hard for Allen to out wrestle Imavov. He's pretty massive. I think Imavov should get the win here. I just don't want to count Brendan Allen out because he has been on such a tear. And this is a potentially title eliminator fight. If Brendan Allen wins here, he probably deserves a title shot, even though I've seen a lot of people kind of be against it. It also, the one caveat there is if Whitaker beats Chimaev in Abu Dhabi, then Whitaker deserves the title shot over Brendan Allen. But yeah, potential title eliminator fight here. But I am going with Imavov. I don't think he's going to get to that. I think Imavov is going to get the win. I think he's got good takedown defense. I think he's got a good ground game. And I think he's got a better game on his feet there. So, yeah, I'm going with Imavov all the way here.
Yeah, God, it's so interesting how stacked middleweight is right now because it wasn't like a super stacked division for a while, but now you have like 4 dudes that could potentially fight for a title. You're looking at like Allen, who's on this tear. You got Imavov, who, like, is looking awesome. Sorry, I'm racing with sunlight here, so that's why it's darker.
It's getting darker
so
and darker.
I'm gonna have to, So I'm gonna have to switch positions here. I think this is where the Brendan Allen winning streak ends. I think this is pretty much like I don't see him competing at all with Imavov striking. It's going to have to be done with grappling, and I think Imavov has good enough grappling to sort of counter what Allen has. And I could see potentially Imavov getting a spectacular finish in this fight. I know it sounds a little crazy because of what Allen has done over the past 8 fights, but man, like Imavov, he's got some slick, underrated striking, and I could see him really putting it on Allen, especially in front of the French crowd. I could see this being like one of the best finishes on the card.
Yeah, the one thing is like, although he got like the TKO win versus Jared Cannonier, I don't think he deserved it. So I'm not going to count it. And if you don't count it, he hasn't gotten a knockout since 2021. So he tends to go to decision quite a bit nowadays. He went to decision against Joaquin Buckley, against Strickland when he lost. Chris Curtis was no contest, and then Roman Dolidze was a decision win as well. So, yeah. I think that I do think that it will go to decision, honestly.
You do? Okay. It's interesting.
Because this is a 3-round fight, I think, right?
Yeah. It is a 3-round fight. I don't fault you for betting decision. I'm just saying, like, I could see this being like a spectacular finish, only because I don't think Allen has the boxing to compete with Imavov on the feet. He's going to have to get this to the ground a lot, and I think Imavov has shown that he can really he like against Roman Dolidze, he really kept him off the ground a lot. Like he was able to keep that fight standing a lot. So I don't know. I just like Imavov a lot in this fight.
Yeah. Yeah. Main event of the night. The odds don't show this, but I think this is the biggest toss-up of the night. I think even though Benoit Saint-Denis lost to Dustin Poirier in his last fight, I think there's still a lot of hype around him. And originally I was going fully with Benoit Saint-Denis, but yeah, I think what do they call him, the nerd squad or whatever?
God of War.
Nerd.
Oh no, you're talking about Moicano. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. The fighting nerds.
Yeah, the fighting nerds. I'm going with the nerds, I think. I've really enjoyed watching Moicano fight. I think he's been on a tear. He's on a 3-fight win streak. I think it's going to be a lot more challenging for Benoit Saint-Denis than people would assume. Yeah, I don't know. He almost lost to Jalen Turner. To be fair, like he got knocked down. Jalen went.
He should have lost to Jalen Turner.
Yeah, he went for the highlight finish, but hey, he kept up with it. I also saw a video where Benoit was training and he looked a little skinny. So I don't know. I such a tough fight to call. It's tough to go with the 2-1 underdog here, but I'm leaning towards Moicano.
That'll be a massive upset if that happens. Just especially in front of the French crowd. Mm-hmm. I don't know how. Look, Jalen Turner didn't almost win that fight. He should have won that fight. Yeah. That was a bad decision, but to go for like the not walk-off knockout. he had Moicano really hurt in that fight. Drew Dober had Moicano really hurt when they fought. I don't think, like, the same thing with Brendan Allen. If Moicano's not taking your back, if he's unable to take your back, he has some trouble on the feet, and he gets hit a lot. And I don't think you can sustain that against Benoit Saint Denis. This dude is a crazy, like, it probably killed some people. Go watch the Joe Rogan podcast when he talks about Benoit Saint Denis and how he's killed people before in the French military. I mean, this dude's an absolute assassin. And Moicano's no joke. He's an excellent grappler. But like when we did an interview, Mike Owens did an interview with him for Inside Fighting, and he said, "What is it that you do best out of anybody in the UFC?" He said, "I think that my back taking is the best. That he's really good at taking your opponent's back." Benoit Saint Denis is a fucking awesome grappler too, and he can get submissions as well as he can get highlight reel knockouts. I don't see. I got to be honest. Like, I'm considering like betting a first round knockout here. I know that sounds crazy, but I could see it happening just because I don't know what Moicano has on his feet where he can stand and bang with Benoit Saint Denis. Maybe I'm crazy, but that's where I'm leaning.
Yeah, I guess kind of what I'm seeing is Benoit has this like weird thing he does that when he gets up from the ground, he like kind of turns his back a lot. And I think that's habit. And I don't know if he's able to fix that, then you're right, probably going to get a win here. But if he keeps giving up his back like that when he's getting up, if Moicano can take advantage of it and jump on his back and take him down again, he's got his back. And it's hard to beat Moicano when he's on there. I'll also say that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
No, I was going to say that Moicano gave Jalen Turner his first like KO loss since 2018. So
yeah,
he's not a knockout specialist by any means, but maybe he gets the odd one. Who knows?
Look, no doubt about it. I want Moicano to win this fight. Like, don't get me wrong. I want him to win in front of the French crowd, to give a crazy post-fight speech. He'll call out Paddy Pimblett or something like that. It'll be insane. But I don't know. I just don't like the matchup for him, if I'm just being honest. And I think that this is Benoit's moment. He lost to Dustin Poirier. He went for he swung for the fences. He got knocked out, but he was doing really well in that fight up until getting knocked out against a legend in Dustin Poirier. And Moicano's 35 years old. He's kind of a journeyman. He's kind of like, he's been in the UFC for a long time, and he's only finally becoming like a potential contender. And that's not true. I think he was a backup fighter for a title once, but I just think this is Benoit's moment.
Totally. No, and I don't blame you for that. Definitely not.
Yeah.
I have to wait and see. To wrap it all up, though, let's talk about a little part that we got going on, and you're gonna hate this one, dude.
I know.
We got a little bit. We got a little bit of a typo here, but leg one here, Gomez versus Brito, under 2.5 rounds total is actually plus 100, not minus 100.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to delete the minus. My bad.
All good, all good. Like we said, we're assuming this is gonna go. This is gonna be a knockout for Brito, right? So I think there's gonna be a finish here. That's why I'm going for the under 2.5 total rounds. Imavov versus Allen, you mentioned that there could be a spectacular knockout. I think there's possibility. I think the fact that it's a 3-round fight limits those possibilities. So I think it's going to go the distance here. I think it's going to start pretty slow. So we got minus 125 for there. And Moicano versus Benoit Saint Denis, over 2.5 rounds. I think it's also going to, I think it might start out a little hot. I don't see a first round finish. And then I think the second round might be a little slow. And now we're on to the third, and we got our over 2.5. So I think it's going to go to plus 140 there. Total is plus 764. I don't typically do parlays like this. Usually I stick to those plus 300 or so parlays, keeping them pretty safe. But yeah, let's gamble.
Yeah, this one is what I've agreed with a lot of your parlays over the past like 4 or 5 weeks. This one I'm a little scared, but I mean the odds are great. So I'd put a
little sprinkle.
I'll put a sprinkle down on this one. I'm concerned about the Moicano Saint Denis bet, and obviously the Imavov Allen bet based on what I said. I think Imavov Allen is much more likely than the Moicano Saint Denis hitting him. So
I agree with that. Yeah. The Moicano Saint Denis, I'm well aware, and I'm being very transparent right now. Like that's the parlay breaker for sure.
It is.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see, I guess.
I hope you're right because I want to see Moicano win. So
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Jesse, it's been a pleasure. Keep enjoying France. Have
Thank
a
you, buddy.
sick time at UFC Paris. Hopefully, we can get you those tickets.
I know.
Everybody's caught up here. We've bought Jesse tickets 2 times, and we keep getting rejected. I don't even know how that works, dude. We just keep getting an email saying, "Hey, tickets aren't going through. You've been refunded." But I don't know. I guess that's what happens when you order on StubHub.
Yeah, or some
it's all sold
international
out.
shit.
Yeah, I
some
don't
friend.
fucking
Who
know, dude.
knows?
Fucking
So,
brutal. But hopefully, you get some floor seats for UFC Paris because that'd be sick.
fingers crossed. Fingers
Hell
crossed.
yeah. Hell yeah. Awesome, brother. Okay. Enjoy France, and we'll chat next week every Thursday, baby.
Yes, sir. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. See you guys.